Evening Exiles, Ed here. I'm in the car on the drive back from Rodney Parade after that disappointing 1-0 loss to Millwall in the League Cup. And I promised Reese and the lads that I would share a few thoughts on the game. Let's go through the team, I suppose, is one way of doing that. I was very impressed by the lad Wright in goal. He's a big boy, isn't he? Pulled off a couple of very, very good saves, especially in the second half when he was down at the end where I was stood. Definitely stopped a couple of certain Millwall goals right towards the end of the game. Very impressed by him. I thought the young lad, Auni from Man United, the right back, looked decent going forward, quick, wanted to attack, wanted to whip balls in, looked like a decent prospect. Whether he's as strong defensively, I think, is maybe a bit of an open question, but I liked the bits that I saw. I thought he was positive. Other than that, especially second half, I think the defensive line didn't quite look comfortable. There were lots of words being exchanged between them. I thought Glennon felt like every mistake he made, he put more pressure on himself at the next time and just kept compounding his errors, really, which was a shame. The bit that interested me was the midfield tonight. I thought it was a good kind of fizzy performance from Antwi and Whitmore. I thought they both looked full of energy, full of running. Very, very good work rate from both of them, which we haven't always said about Antwi in the past. I thought Whitmore had been given a bit more freedom, perhaps, by David Hughes. That was my impression, certainly, than perhaps he had last season. And it showed, he looked like he was the creative outlet that I think many of us think he has the potential to be. So impressed by him. The weak spot, I thought, in midfield was Ben Lloyd, who the only times I really noticed him during that game were when he perhaps was not doing things that we needed him to do. And he did look a little bit lightweight, but it's early days for him. And the thing I would say about Ben Lloyd is I think he's one who we may see starting to click when we get to November sort of time. That's always the way with these first-time loanees. And I thought when Cameron Evans moved into central midfield, when Jenkins came on in second half, I liked the look of him as that, midfield kind of fulcrum, the bastard that potentially we need. We talked about it. I thought that was a positive thing. And then up front, Camwer was another fizzy one, full of energy and running, had a couple of little half chances that didn't quite drop for him, but he was getting into the right places. And the talk before the game where I was stood outside the marquee was, what do we do when arguably our best player in Bobby Camwer doesn't fit the system that we want? And I thought tonight maybe he showed that he can do a job there. With Courtney Baker-Richardson, is that the right partnership? I don't know. But I thought Camwer showed that he can play in that system tonight. So that for me was another good takeaway. My first glimpse of this side under David Hughes in competitive action. I thought they looked organised. I thought Hughes was a good presence on the touchlines, giving lots of good advice. It was very noticeable at halftime. He ran up to, I think it was Auni, and then to Whitmore to give them specific things that he wanted them to do. I thought that all the kind of body language there looked decent. So there was a lot to like. We created a lot in the first half, if you like, the first quarter. And then I think Millwall started to get into their stride and dominated the game. And it was a little bit the same second half. Millwall, they got the goal, not against the run of play. I don't think we can have any complaints about it particularly. But we did create chances. And the thing that I would take away from tonight is, it's disappointing to be out of the cup. But we were playing a side 2.5 leagues higher, if you like. They're a top half side in the second division. We're a bottom half side in the fourth division, and we made them work for it. We did all right. We didn't get a result, and we didn't push them maybe quite as hard as I would have liked towards the end, but we made them work for that. And I think there's a lot of positives that we could take, especially when they clearly had a lot of strength and depth. They were big lads as well. I think I tweeted during the game to say their back line looked like stormtroopers. They were just enormous. So lots of things to take away that were positive. Not the result that we wanted, but I think it's onwards and upwards for us. I shan't be making the trip to Grimsby, but I will look forward to hearing what Ian has to say about it. And I will be back to talk to you again in a week's time after the Salford game. Look after yourselves and each other, and I'll catch up with you again soon.